What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol AAPL for Apple Inc. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. We talk about it every Sunday over on the main channel. I've talked about it here as well, and it's just a stock I watch very closely on an intraday basis. So certainly on today's session, we opened on a gap higher. We faded to fill that gap and obviously closed relatively weakly down there at the lows here. So the daily candlestick would imply that we have some more room to go to the downside. The volume down below is also supporting that. And is this unreasonable? Absolutely not. I mean, this thing has been on a tear to the upside. To have a little bit of give back here, a little bit of profit taking, not unreasonable whatsoever. If we take out the fibs on the daily chart, coming in from the low of the rally, sort of where it began from, come up to the high, notice that your 38.2 is just underneath this structural element here, which is this level on your 30-minute chart. It's 174. I would start to make the argument that if Apple is going to move higher into the remainder of the week, it needs to do something like this and firmly bounce off of 174. What it cannot do, in my estimation, would be something that looks like this, okay? So just consolidation, sort of, just hovering right above 174. What that would do would not only be build a, 30-minute bear flag here, bear pennant, but also, I mean, look at it in this light, right? You have a head and shoulders. Here's your neckline breakdown point. Anything under 174 starts to bring us closer to this, prior all-time high here, 170.29, and then it's all about the support trend line. Now notice that this is a secondary support trend line coming in here, and because we've made a new higher high, we would expect that it could be buyable on the first touch. So if we start getting into it and we start printing things that look like hammer candles, indecision dojis, that could be a potential bottoming pattern. Look for long over the highs to retarget some of these overhead levels. From the 30-minute perspective, what else are we seeing? Again, just sort of wanted to reiterate that on a move into the support trend line could look like a pattern here on the 30. If you do something like this on the 30-minute time frame chart and close up here, from the daily, that's just going to look like a hammer candle, right? So that's kind of how these things work. A double bottom with a higher low, fantastic. No, you can't really tell where the neckline would be at this point in time, but look for that to be a potential, way to resolve this pullback to the upside. Could also look like an inverted head and shoulders. I mean, the classic patterns that we're always talking about on this channel. So that's the pullback there. Now, what else are we noting here? Well, let's take a closer look at the intraday session just to gauge the strength of the buyers and the sellers on the intraday session. So coming in from high to the low of the first move, so what I'm counting as the first move is this here. On the dead cat, what you'll notice, we only made it to the 38.2, then resisted and went lower for the day. So sellers definitely getting a little bit of a foothold here, which again supports the case that we do have lower to go inside of Apple. Then we'll take out the fibs from the high down to the true low, and what you'll notice is that your 38.2 is kind of right at this shelf of support. So 178 is your critical pivot. Anything underneath that remains bearish. If we do take it out, the only way to get bullish in my estimation, though, would be up and over 179. Okay, so in here, you don't really want to play around because it could resolve this way or it could resolve this way. Too much uncertainty in there. I would really wait for some more confirmation. Again, up and over that 61.8. Maybe we get some sort of bull flag up here. Doesn't look like a likely scenario. Let me remind you of that. But if this happens, again, flag in here, break out over the highs. Maybe it's back off to the races. I want to point out again, the volume down below, the daily candlestick, the fact that the sellers had control from this move in here, it doesn't look like that's a likely scenario, so keep that one sort of in the back of your mind, but just something to think about, right? It's all about the 61.8. Don't get involved too early if it just starts, chopping around closer to about 179. That's really going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it today or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.